Soybean farmer here. March 29th. I spent the bigger part of yesterday getting that field out there ready to plant. And now this morning I'm servicing the planter. The 4020 tractor did real well yesterday. I was real pleased with that. A good ride and I enjoyed it. Today we're going to ride on that Ford 4000. Plant this 5-acre field here and the 2-acre field in front of the house. And I'm real excited about the fact that I got both fields ready at the same time, because that grass waterway, I'll be able to come down off of this field, pick up the grain drill and roll across that grass waterway, drop the grain drill and go straight on across there. That's going to save me a bunch of aggravation and all that turnaround time in both fields at the edge of that grass waterway, so that'll speed things up. And I'm just feeling good this morning. It's just a good day. Got a good start on this. Rains are supposed to come in tonight, tomorrow, so that's pleasing. That's a lot of joy in that. Well, let me go over here and see if I can get this planter grain drill. It plants seed, okay? It's a planter grain drill. All right. Let me go over here and get this thing ready to roll. I've been out here planting now for a couple of hours, and I'm getting to the I don't know, just a little bit of this field left to do. I was trying to talk while I was holding the camera, but the voice came out really poor. Tractor's kind of loud, and I guess my voice was tired, so I deleted that out, and I thought I'd just try to lay this in. Now, that's my row marker. I put my front tire on the wheel mark that was left by the planter grain drill, and just follow it and you'll end up with evenly spaced rows. Now that's the grain drill that I've been pulling. I've been planting with that for 20 years now. It works pretty good. It's not a no-till. And I'm looking back across the side of the field that I've got done, headed on down to the grass meadow strip where I worked this out about 2 years ago. I used to plant these two fields as separate fields and do all the end turnarounds in this grass meadow strip, and that's a lot of time. So I figured out if I work up the two fields at the same time, pull up to the meadow strip, pull up to the point where the grain drill is right at the edge, right there, stop, lift the drills up, ease on across this grass meadow strip, and I figured out if I drop the drills just about the time my back tires ease into the field, I can get it to start planting when it gets up to the edge of the field. Of course, when I get down to the other end down here, there's an interesting turnaround that I have to do to get turned around and come straight back up, but there's enough room down there to make it, so it works out. And just about, I think it was about 4 more passes in this little field here, and I would finish it, and then I would just have the remaining portion of the large field to plant. It was a real nice day, except for the fact that the wind was blowing 20 miles an hour. Blew my cap off about 3 times, and that was a little bit annoying. But that was about all I had to get annoyed with. And we're coming up on the end right here. I've just finished the last, what I call end dress or border dressing. You can see that tire mark over there, kind of paralleling the edge of the field. And I'm finished. I've got this field planted, and I'm headed back over to the barn. I'm tired. Headache came back, but I was looking at my tire marks to see the even spacing and see how straight they were. And considering the fact that I'm missing some bushings and a part of the steering system on this Ford 4000, and the fact that it's pretty worn out, it's more like steering a sailboat than it is driving a tractor. But I'm kind of impressed with the lines and how they're kind of sort of straight, so I'm kind of happy about that. And I'm also happy that I've finished planting this field. It's about 5 o'clock, or about 20 after 5 really. So I'm thinking if I just get in the house, get a shower, get cleaned up, because it was dusty, and that wind just beat me to death. The wind blew all day. I tried once to get the drone out, and I was going to let it hover, and I got up about 6 feet, and it got a high wind warning. So I had to put that thing up, and that didn't work. And I hated it because I really wanted to get some drone footage in on this. But there's still 2 more fields to plant, so we'll get to it then maybe. But I'm going to park this and see if I can get a tarp wrapped up around the grain drill, because there's just a little bit of seed left in the thing. And
I'm standing out on my front porch. It's about 8 a.m. in the morning on the day after I got all that planted and that planted. And that rain event that was coming out of the west and moving towards the east came through here early this morning. And when I got up, there was pretty substantial downpour. The color was red on the Doppler radar. But doing what cousin asked me to do sure paid off. That field out there is planted on a diagonal. Now, it makes the turnarounds up there at the highway and down there where you can't see a real booger bear. But the Lord gave me a different way to do it yesterday, and it worked out great. And I'm looking at the water that's come down that slope and collected down there, and I'm still seeing a crisp line of dirt to grass. And that was a pretty good rain. It's still raining now, but it's just light rain. So I'm just going to thank God for his guidance. I want to thank my cousin for knowing more about that field than I did and sharing it with me. But when you get a rain like we just had on the day after, the morning after you've planted, that's a farmer's dream come true. So I'm going to stand out here and rejoice, give thanks to God.
got home tonight from work. I fired up the drone and went flying around looking at the field to see if there was any washouts, and this was actually the only dirt out of the field washout there was. I started looking, flying up from it and seeing how it had occurred, how the dirt got washed down through there. And then looking back at it one more time, the sun kind of got into it. But that little bit of dirt out there is nothing compared to some of the catastrophes I've had before. And I'll get out there tomorrow and see if I can't clean that up a little bit. And I was just looking right over in there to see where that went, and it went down that way too, but stayed in the field. Down on this backside, there was still water standing in this area, and it looked like that it was just some surface debris had washed out into the grass on this side. But I was just looking at it there and looking at the way the land was and the dirt was and seeing what had gotten moved, and it just looked like it was standing water there. So I tried to just look around there a little bit, and I said, well, there's one more place up here. If I can get my orientation right and fly up there and take a look at that, because you turn in this corner right here and it starts up a hill, and sure enough I can see looks like sand washed down through here, and then there was starts of a little bit of a rut right up in there, a little bit of a wash from that. But at least the dirt had stayed in the field. It didn't, overflow and come out. And it looked like that's where the rut started at that point right there. But putting this in on a diagonal, that was a serious heavy downpour that happened this morning. But putting this in on a diagonal, it could have been so much worse. And I realize this is what you're going to put up with when you do tillage. No-till people aren't going to have this kind of issue, but I don't have no-till equipment, and I don't have the financial means to get no-till equipment, so this is what happens. The weatherman tells you it's going to rain, and you just plan as best you can and do the best you can with it. But this drone sure is handy for looking around and seeing, what you got out here in a field without having to try to go out. I wouldn't have dared try to walk in this because, you'd have sunk down to your ankles in it. And I took off up here to the top, looking around up there a little bit. It still looks to be in good shape. Headed on up here to the high point of the land, and it still looked to be in pretty good shape. And along about here is where that lady inside of the controller told me that the battery was about to go dead because I'd flown all around this field looking. So I brought it back in to land it down here where I was standing. Everybody, thanks a bunch for watching my videos, and there's 2 more fields to plant. So we'll see if we can't get some better drone footage in those. Thank you, and God bless each and every one of you.